Velantis Prime was a world where feelings were visible things.
The Velari didn't just sense emotion, they saw it, heard it, felt it in the air as shimmering color, sound, and vibration.
To them, emotions were harmonics that rippled through space.
Lying was nearly impossible when your heartbeat could be heard as melody, when deceit rang false in everyone's senses. Ambassador Adrian Cole had spent 6 months learning to live in that transparency. Every emotion he experienced, joy, irritation, even passing embarrassment, was visible to any Velari nearby.
His liaison officer, Meridian, helped him navigate this impossible honesty with patience and grace.
Over time, they built a friendship, professional, warm, grounded in mutual respect. She was everything the Velari embodied, poised, elegant, and luminously calm. Adrian found her fascinating and beautiful, but he never let himself feel it too loudly. Here, attraction wasn't private, and he had no intention of broadcasting something that might be considered unprofessional. The Festival of Resonance approached, a cultural celebration of shared emotion and harmony.
Adrian would be the first human to attend.
Meridian coached him in the customs inside her personal quarters, a space alive with soft light and living architecture that pulsed with mood. She demonstrated the traditional greeting stance, movements that for Velari carried deep emotional meaning. To Adrian's human eyes, the motion was simply mesmerizing, elegant curves, rhythmic grace, light glinting across the metallic lines of her attire.
And in that moment, his concentration slipped. Just a thought, quiet, fleeting. She's absolutely stunning. In human culture, that thought would have stayed private. On Velantis Prime, it radiated like a flare.
Meridian stopped mid-motion. Her expression flickered, surprised in something softer. Adrian's stomach dropped. He'd done it. A catastrophic breach of diplomacy. I'm so sorry, he stammered. That was completely inappropriate. I didn't mean...
She laughed.
Not politely, not nervously, genuine laughter, musical and bright. The sound rippled through the air like sunlight through water.
You think that's something to apologize for? She said, amusement lighting her features.
Adrian, I've perceived your attraction for months. Every Velari around you has. You've been trying so hard to hide what broadcasts itself naturally. It's been rather charming. He blinked, stunned. You're not offended? Offended? Her smile deepened. You've simply given me the first honest emotion I've felt from you in weeks. She stepped closer, her emotional presence blooming around him like warmth. In our culture, honesty is never inappropriate. Suppression is. You've been radiating appreciation and shame at the same time, discordant harmonics impossible to ignore.
He swallowed hard, torn between confusion and relief. I thought I was being professional. You were being afraid.
Her gaze softened. Among my people, feelings aren't wrong. Only actions can cross boundaries. You've never been disrespectful, Adrian. You simply felt something, honestly, quietly, and that's beautiful.
Her words shook something loose in him.
Human culture drew hard lines between emotion and conduct, teaching restraint as virtue. But the Velari viewed emotion as a truth to be honored, not hidden. When Meridian demonstrated another greeting pose, Adrian didn't fight the surge of admiration.
He let it exist, untamed, unapologetic. Immediately her presence warmed.
There you are, she said softly. The person behind the walls. I've been waiting to meet you.
He exhaled, unguarded for the first time. You've been waiting? Meridian's expression turned radiant.
Adrian, your attraction hasn't been one-sided. I've been reflecting it for months, but you were too controlled to notice. She paused, eyes gleaming with both humor and sincerity. Since our second meeting, you fascinated me. Your emotional harmonics are complex, disciplined yet vibrant. I've wanted to know you beyond your careful composure.
At the Festival of Resonance, Adrian finally understood.
He stood among thousands of Velari, each one allowing their feelings to flow. Joy, awe, love, sorrow, all merging into a grand emotional symphony that vibrated through the air like living music.
For the first time, Adrian stopped managing himself.
He let wonder rise, let connection and warmth and reverence resonate freely.
Velari around him responded with delight.
The distance dissolved. They welcomed him, felt him, truly saw him.
An elder approached with a serene smile.
We've been waiting to meet you, human. The walls you carried were polite, but lonely.
Word spread across Velantis Prime about the human who had learned emotional honesty.
And Meridian remained beside him, not as superior or subordinate, but as something new. They called it a resonance partnership, a bond built not on romance alone, but mutual transparency and profound respect. Months later, a trade dispute threatened to fracture relations between their species. The Velari sensed the humans' forced confidence in veiled agendas, deception, even when unspoken.
The negotiations were on the verge of collapse. Adrian stepped forward. He did the unthinkable for a diplomat. He stopped pretending. He let uncertainty show. He admitted the fears behind human posturing.
He allowed his admiration for Velari honesty and his hope for connection to flow through him unfiltered.
The entire chamber changed. Velari delegates felt true for the first time from human representatives. And what had been an adversarial debate became genuine collaboration. Afterward, the senior human diplomat confronted him.
You just violated every protocol we have about emotional control. You showed weakness.
Adrian stood beside Meridian, whose emotional aura pulsed with pride.
I showed honesty, he said quietly. And it worked better than any strategy we've ever tried.
Years later, Adrian and Meridian Cote aught new envoys.
Their harmonics, visible to every Velari, blended in soft waves of trust, respect, and something deeper neither species could yet name. One honest mistake, Adrian told the trainees, taught me that what I called professionalism was actually fear. The Velari don't value emotional restraint. They value authenticity guided by integrity. You can feel deeply and still act ethically. Meridian smiled beside him. And we've learned, she said, that when humans let themselves truly feel, your emotions create harmonics unlike anything we've ever known. When you stop hiding, it's breathtaking.
Together, they stood as proof that connection doesn't come from control, but from honesty. That strength isn't in silence, but in the courage to be seen. And it all began with one fleeting thought, one slip of emotion, and the laughter that turned it into understanding.